Hello YouTube, the Alpha Hunter has returned and like I said, I've been dealing with some stuff. Coronavirus freak out. We need to kind of chill a little bit, but I also haven't been getting very many comments or suggestions about videos at all. And it's really sad. I really want people to talk to me and say, hey, this is what I want you to talk about, or hey, what do you think about this? I don't mind. I really don't mind. I like contemplating the secrets of the universe, and really kind of a lot of other things too. So today I actually wanted to do something a little special. I wanted to talk about the walls we put up. The walls of bigotry. Now, the thing about bigotry, we've heard of many stories of people being called bigots, and sometimes these are people who are actually pretty open to dialogue, conversations, and considering the other people's ideas. There's an irony in the bigotry of those calling it. Because, well, first off, we're going to have to discover, what does bigotry mean? And I have it pulled up right here. Bigotry, intolerance towards those who hold different opinions from oneself. Notice one key word in there. Intolerance. And I know this has been beat several times. But the tolerant left is intolerant. And this is the main reason why. They want to say they can include everybody, that they're very inclusive. But when it comes to the very thing that we're talking about today, differing opinions, they are completely intolerant against those, no matter what you are. And it's a very disappointing thing that's what they're going to draw the line at. Differing opinions. Now, there are a few synonyms and a few other related words that I'm pretty sure you've heard before. And before I get into those words, I want you to put in the comments below, what do you think those words are that are closely tied to bigotry? Here, I'll give you a bit. Alrighty, I think you might have had enough time. If you need to, you can also pause the video for further time to type in all of the different words you're thinking. But let me go over some of them. Prejudice, bias, partisanship, discrimination, intolerance. All of these having to deal with people having biases, having particular viewpoints, and not wanting to hear the others. The other viewpoints. All the different crazy ideas there are out there. Which some are not, but that's a different discussion. So they'll eventually create themselves an echo chamber. A place where their ideas are constantly repeated back to them. It gives an idea of some kind of big empty room where one voice is just repeatedly bouncing off the walls and back to the origin. And this can be seen in many sorts of places. One I'm thinking of is Twitter, but I think that's probably going to be about as far as I go that direction. But really, it's just the kind of media you surround yourself with gives off the idea of what kind of things you hear. The more opinions you have surrounding you, the less bigoted you'll actually be. Now we're going to have the discussion about open-mindedness. Now, when many people talk about open-mindedness, you will have a group of people who will stick by the definition of it, and there will be those that try to push it towards its extreme. So, for example, you'll hear that people want to be open-minded, but they want to be open-minded to everything, even to the absolutely stupid ideas. And, quite frankly, if I have to start listing them out, this video will be longer than I really want it to be. And pretty much longer than anybody else would really want it to be. So let's just say open-mindedness, there has to be boundaries. There are boundaries that are involved. Open-mindedness is the willingness to search actively for evidence against one's favored beliefs, plans, or goals, and to weigh such evidence fairly when it is available. It does not imply that one is indecisive, wishy-washy, or incapable of thinking for oneself. Open-mindedness deals with thinking about all of these different ideas within the frameworks of evidence. Is it plausible? What are the results? Is there evidence to say this might work, or that this might be a good idea? Now, these definitions I'm getting straight from Google. You can type in bigotry and you'll find what I used. Same with open-mindedness. And I also looked up some synonyms. So how about these? Approachable, impartial, tolerant, perceptive, unbiased, understanding. These are the kind of things that we want in people. We want them to be understanding. We want them to be impartial. We want them to consider ideas, all of them, within the framework of evidence. To take away that framework is for absolute chaos. You can't build a house without walls. But unfortunately, there's several out there, not just on the left, but people all around. There are those that don't want to have these boundaries. And that's a dangerous thing. It is also dangerous to set up rigid walls to prevent other ideas from coming across. Like I said, this has to deal with boundaries. This boundaries in this world of ideas. Are you going to build walls, so to speak, to prevent other ideas from coming? Or would you be building filters? If you're going to build walls, then that means you're sealing off all of these ideas that can come, merited or not. And that's when bigotry starts to become more apparent. You'll have these people who are so unwilling to listen to many of these ideas that they will frankly shut down. They will turn off, they will shut down, and they will run away. They'll scream and shout and stir up dust. And that's a disappointing thing. It reminds me of a song by Thousand Foot Crutch called Fly on the Wall. It's the second verse where it's discussing them planning to build a wall and to keep them safe and lock them away. And they built it so much that it blacked out the sky and all the sunlight. Meaning, any sort of good out there, any sort of hope is sealed off. And then one by one, we all became numb, it goes on to say. They became heartless, is what I hear from it. We were making bullets to a broken gun. It's a vain issue. It really is. It's a vain thing to do. And there's no point in loading a broken gun. It's not going to work. So you can see how all of these things, bigotry ruins it. It ruins everything. And this is, like I said, this is the part where I just have to facepalm and just try to consider, why are they so bigoted? It hurts. It really does hurt me to see that there are people out there and that I'm going to encounter them, that they will not consider these other ideas. And I can, like I said, I probably shouldn't because it would be a very, very, very long video. But I'm going to name a few that you might want to keep an eye out for when it comes to bigotry. Now, the one prime example that I'm thinking of in terms of just like, holy crap, would be third wave feminism. And I'm already probably going to get a lot of hate, and quite frankly, if I'm going to be taken down for my ideas, I'd rather be taken down willing to hear what they have to say. Alright? I want to know what you think. Let's have a discussion. Let's open up. Let's tear down these walls so we can instead build filters. So we can get the merit ideas and toss out the garbage. But the reason why I say third wave feminism is because of the absolute bigotry. I mean, when it comes to men's issues affecting men and generally mainly men, like male suicide, they won't listen and they'll twist it into a feminist issue because it's getting popularity. If it wasn't gaining popularity, then they probably wouldn't have bothered with it. They like to highlight issues about women, but when it comes to men, they ignore it. Or they twist it to fulfill their agenda. And I can already think of a few others as well, not just third wave feminism, but plenty in the LGBTQ movement. I mean, do we really have to force people to do all these things? Do we really want to have discussions about sex to kindergartners? No. I'd say no. And I can stick by it. Do we really want to talk about trans issues with very young children? And yes, I know young children. I have 2 little brothers. And yes, it's their age group that they want to talk about these issues with. And I'm saying it shouldn't. Look what happened to it. We already have discussions about what happens and studies, surveys, and actual events that happened because there were trannies trying to teach children about gender and all that. It caused chaos, an increase in depression and fear. And for absolutely no reason. These children don't quite understand concepts yet. They don't quite understand all of these things yet. So you need to give them time to think about it. And then, of course, we've got just dumb people out there. You got many of those who support socialism as bigots. They won't consider the ideas, and they think that all the problems of what's happening now in the US can be solved with socialism. And they not only themselves, but they also expect everybody else to be either blind or ignore any actual evidence that could disprove them. And that's a real shame. And it's a real shame on all those who support this kind of thing. Anywho, before I go too far off the deep end, I want to thank all y'all very much for viewing this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Truly, let me know what you think. What do you think about this video? Let's create discussions. And I also would like some suggestions for next video. I want to be able to continually bring out something that people want to hear. And so I'm trying to essentially poke around and see if there's anything that'll get people up and active and say, hey, why don't you try this? And the only way I can think about it right now is to do this. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can try to set up a Facebook and see if I can start making posts or stuff there. Anywho, y'all stay safe out there with the coronavirus. Take a grain of salt in what you hear. And as always, good hunting.